Welcome to Hanging with Hillbilly.
What's up, guys? Hillbilly here, back to give you part 2 of the best evidence proving aliens exist. Thank you for watching right here on Hanging with Hillbilly. I do appreciate it. We're going to get right back into this video as this is part 2. Let's go.
UAP videos are classified as secret or above. This level of secrecy not only impedes our understanding, but fuels speculation and mistrust.
In fact, in 2021, the U.S. Office of the Director of National Intelligence released a preliminary report on UAPs, and the official findings will chill you to the core. The report looked back on evidence gathered in the last 20 years from U.S. Navy reports and concluded that they basically had no idea what UAPs were. The UAPs could break the sound barrier without producing a sonic boom, move with no discernible means of propulsion, and travel with such speed and maneuverability that would typically destroy any craft. The report accepted that UAP recordings were most likely physical objects, and they are a possible safety issue that could pose a security threat. Ultimately, these individuals are some of the most reliable witnesses you could hope for, and their stories match up. They were joined with one other whistleblower at the congressional hearing, whose story is perhaps even more disturbing. This is former intelligence official David Grush, who dropped
we heard about him
some
earlier in
bombshells.
part 1.
Not only did he claim that the U.S. government has had contact with alien species, but also that they've recovered downed spacecraft and the remains of non-human pilots. To make matters even crazier, Grush also claimed that the U.S. has come across actively malevolent alien races, which means we could be in some serious danger.
And maybe that's why, again, as we talked about in part 1, maybe that's why they're not letting us know that this is, not confirming much of this data. Now, I know there was some things that happened, I believe, late 2022, maybe 2021, where they released a bunch of the video, some of what we've seen here, like the Tic Tac and all this, the sightings that some of these pilots are seeing. But yeah, I think there's more that we just don't know. We haven't, that they're not sharing with the American public, and this is possibly why, is they don't think that we have the testicular fortitude to handle it. Anyway.
But if all this really is true, why the heck haven't we heard about it until now?
That's why.
Well, as you'd probably guessed, Grush blamed the government for orchestrating an elaborate cover-up. Not content with simply pulling the wool over our eyes, he asserted that U.S. agents have actively targeted and caned for people who threatened to reveal these secrets in the past. Oh, man. So, if Grush ever goes missing, I think we all know where fingers will be pointed.
Right.
Of course, the U.S. government responded exactly how you'd expect them to, by denying everything. In July of 2023, during the congressional hearing mentioned already, while under oath, he reiterated that there was a massive cover-up going on, and that the U.S. government had indeed recovered non-human remains.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
And even specified further on his claims of alien races posing a threat.
So, at one point you had said that there has been harmful activity or aggressive activity. Has any of the activity been aggressive, been hostile in your reports?
I know of multiple colleagues of mine that got physically injured, and the activity. And I got
by UAPs or by people within the federal government?
Both.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Grush couldn't answer a lot of questions publicly for legal reasons, but did mention he was willing to speak with congressmen privately and reveal more information.
So that's the problem.
Who knows what
How can we
secrets he has to
believe
share?
anything that they
What do
do
you
privately?
think? Is this the most credible evidence of alien life yet? Or just another chancer seeking their 15 minutes of fame? Let me know down in the comments. Now, before I move on, there is one part of Mr. Grush's testimony which is particularly striking. Let's give it a listen.
At the time, due to my extensive executive-level intelligence support duties, I was cleared to literally all relevant compartments and in a position of extreme trust, both in my military and civilian capacities. I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program.
If true, this would support the statements made by Bob Lazar, as well as the other whistleblowers at the hearing, along with thousands of various incidents recorded over the decades. Now,
Oh, Bobby, coming up again. So more of what Bob Lazar has said appears to be corroborated by other, people in official standing within our government. So is Bob crazy? Did they make Bob Lazar out to be some fall guy for just, some Looney Tune? I think that's what they've done to him, but I don't know. Let's talk about it in the comments. Let me know what you think, and I'll be sure and do my best to reply back and give you my thoughts on your comments. Or whatever. We can have some open dialogue about this. I'm just curious what other people think about this video as we move forward through it, and this so-called best evidence proving aliens exist. Has it proven it to you yet? We still have another part of this video to go. We still have a ways to go in part 2 here, but then we're going to have a part 3. By the end of it, we'll sum it all up. However, let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's get the dialogue started now and discuss, what do you guys think? Is this government cover-up, or is there more to the story? Are they possibly, are there aliens? Maybe we'll do some type of poll, but are there aliens? Are there, is this maybe government technology that we have, or that we're just not wanting to release yet because it's of national security, from the aspect of future weapons that the United States government may have at their fingertips to use in times of war? Or is it possible, what I was talking about before, maybe possible time travel, that it's really not alien, it's just us, and in a I don't even know how to explain that, but across the dimensions of time, that maybe our future selves have created this technology to be able to come back and provide. I don't know. Let's keep watching and see what they tell us in this video here, but I'd like to know your thoughts in the comments below.
let's delve into some of the most credible sightings that often go overlooked.
Okay.
Foo Fighters. November
Pretty cool band.
1944. A U.S. fighter plane tore through the night skies above the Rhine Valley on the French-German border. In the gloom, one lieutenant noticed a string of ominous glowing lights off in the distance. Believing them to be German air weapons, they turned to fight. But the lights suddenly disappeared. And this was only the beginning of a long list of unexplainable sightings. Other wartime pilots reported strange luminous orbs, flashing lights, and even an unknown object flying close beside them. They came to call these mysterious objects Foo Fighters, after a line from a popular comic book at the time called Smokey Stover. And yeah, there's also a band with the same name, but I don't think Dave Grohl was hanging around in the 1940s. So what were those Foo Fighters? Well, some believe the soldiers didn't see anything at all and were actually suffering from combat fatigue. In other words, the stress and trauma of the war had affected them so much they'd started hallucinating. But people that knew them said they seemed very level-headed. Others put forward the idea that the Foo Fighters were actually experimental enemy craft. But wouldn't we know by now if that was the answer? Indeed, many people think they really were alien visitors, come to observe and learn about human aircraft. If that's the case, though, why don't we see UFOs following us whenever we go on vacation?
Right?
Well, think about it. The Second World War was the most destructive conflict in human history. Maybe extraterrestrials heard all the commotion from a galaxy far away and came to find out what the fuss was about. Then, after seeing how stupid we can be, they noped out again and sightings dried up. Can't say I really blame them. Don't worry though, just like and subscribe to Be Amazed for all the knowledge injections you need to impress the aliens when they next come back around. All sorted? Wicked.
And
Let's
hanging
get
with
back to
Hillbilly. Be sure to do that here as well. Appreciate you.
Recess to remember. Kids aren't exactly the most
that Jackie
reliable
Chan?
sources. I mean, They say a lot of stupid stuff. But what about when a whole class of kids has the same exact story? And what if all of them insist the story is the truth for nearly 30 years afterwards? Okay, now you have my interest. Back in 1994, a bunch of children attending aerial school outside Rua, Zimbabwe, had the most eventful day imaginable. And no, it wasn't Pizza Friday. During their morning recess, no less than 62 students saw a strange disc-like craft land near the schoolyard. Curious, many of them walked over to investigate. Suddenly, the craft's doors opened and a humanoid creatures clad in black stepped out before the now terrified children. Then the beings slowly approached. But it seems they came in peace. Rather than attacking, they, wait for it, telepathically beamed messages about the importance of environmentalism into the children's minds before abruptly leaving. Right. While not all students saw the craft that fateful day, many of the kids that did have been adamant about the events that took place ever since. Looking at it from a skeptical mind, it's possible the whole thing was just a case of mass hysteria. That's when a group of people suffer a collective delusion. We aren't entirely sure why this happens, but anxiety is thought to be one of the causes. Just 2 days prior to the incident, there'd been several UFO sightings across southern Africa. This created an atmosphere of anxiety that could have become hysteria, which the kids manifested in an extraterrestrial encounter of their own. I'm not convinced. Some of them even drew pictures, and they have startling similarities between them. And would children really think to work environmentalism into their story? I'm not saying this is aliens, but there's definitely something more than hysteria at play here.
I mean, that's a good point, right? Is that why would they all would they all work that into their story? No, but we do know that that happens today, as far as how in schools, how we actually throw a particular idea at a group of kids in order to kind of train them to have a certain way of thinking and a certain way of being. Now, I'm not saying that's what's happened here, because obviously their story is regarding aliens and what they had recently possibly manifested by what they recently heard about in the news, and so on and so forth, with all of the sightings they'd had 2 days previously. However, environmentalism, for all of them to, these 30 plus kids or whatever it was, I think they got the same message. That's kind of odd.
Let me know your thoughts down in the comments.
And do that too. Yeah.
The Belgian UFO wave. In
Okay.
Belgium, 1989, a string of UFO sightings took place that would mark the beginning of a tremendous wave of encounters that shocked the world. On a fateful November night, over 30 different groups of people recorded seeing something odd in the skies above them. A strange triangular object with 3 distinct glowing lights beneath it. Spooky, right? Well, for the next 5 or so months, over 2,000 more sightings were reported across the
wow.
country. Jeez, that's a lot of alien boys. The Belgian government actually got fed up with hearing these reports and, assuming the US were testing some aircraft nearby, got in touch with them to find out. But the Americans told them no such tests were taking place. With little going on, the Belgian government saw only one way to get to the bottom of the situation: getting up close and personal with one of the supposed craft. So, when reports of a sighting came in one March night, jets were scrambled and sent to meet with the enigmatic visitor. Frustratingly, the fighter pilots couldn't see the object itself, but they did just about catch it on radar. The radar blip started moving erratically and jumping great distances before accelerating way beyond a man-made craft's capability and just vanishing. After that, encounters quietly died down. While the Belgian government were quick to dismiss the whole affair, they couldn't provide any compelling alternative explanations. It's possible the sheer gravitas of the initial sightings inspired paranoia among citizens, making them more susceptible to the idea of seeing triangular shapes in the sky. But that doesn't explain the mysterious radar blip. I think the answer is obvious. These were aliens, just dropping by for that sweet Belgian chocolate. Skinny Bob.
So Skinny Bob.
Most phony alien encounters involve off-puttingly grainy photos of faraway spaceships. That's because it'd take a whole lot of cash, time, and skill to convincingly fake an alien up close, which is exactly what makes Skinny Bob such an enigma. No, it's not the name of my estranged nephew, it's an alleged alien. Let me explain. In 2011, a Reddit user named Ivan posted a startling video clip to the website, claiming it was recorded by the KGB. This is Skinny Bob. Crikey. I don't know about you, but I'm seriously creeped out. What exactly are we looking at? Is this real? It certainly looks it, right? According to Ivan, the alien was on a diplomatic mission from the Zeta Reticuli star system and had been sent to discuss matters of mutual concern. What exactly those matters were wasn't disclosed, but supposedly what you're seeing is an excerpt from an interview with the being.
My problem with that interview video is, why is the date not revealed in the video? Why do they have that kind of the black bar over it?
Visual effects expert Randy Sharp, who worked on the likes of I Am Legend and
Great
Watchmen,
movie.
looked at the footage and gave some startling testimony. According to him, if it was a fake, it would have truly tested the tech available in 2011 and took somebody with a crazy level of skill and knowledge to pull it off. On top of that, it would have cost an arm and a leg, somewhere in the ballpark of $250,000. So, given that nobody has ever claimed ownership of the video or tried to profit from it, such an expensive prank seems illogical. Is it real then? Who knows? I guess we should keep an eye out for Skinny Bob appearing in any more movies. Though, it has been over a decade, so maybe he's more of a Fat Bob these days.
It's gonna be the name of my new rock band, Skinny Bob. Yep. Skinny Bob. Wait a minute. Never mind. All right.
The Phoenix
Fat Bob. That's like a motorcycle, right? Fat Bob. Skinny Bob, 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 blue. Wait, isn't that a Motley Crue song? I don't know. No, it's never mind.
Lights. Okay, so far we've covered some very widely observed UFO sightings, but nothing can match the sheer number of people that reported seeing what became known as the Phoenix Lights. The Phoenix Lights were two events that happened on the evening of March 13th, 1997, in the skies above Nevada and Arizona. The first event started at around 7:30 p.m., when a witness in Henderson, Nevada, reported seeing an array of glowing orbs in the sky. From there, they slowly made their way across state lines to Phoenix, Arizona, a near 300-mile journey that was seen by thousands upon thousands of people, including actor Kurt Russell. The lights made the shape of a V, with some observers claiming they could faintly see the craft itself through the clouds. Then they passed over the city and disappeared without a trace. What? And it gets weirder. At around 10 p.m., loads of people in Phoenix also reported seeing a separate row of bright lights hovering in the sky. According to the author and renowned UFO skeptic, Robert Schaefer, these lights actually originated from two separate U.S. Air Force training exercises with A-10 jets. One exercise consisted of the planes flying in a triangle formation and another of them firing flares.
Okay.
What a buzzkill. But it makes sense. Case closed, right? Wrong. In 2007, former Arizona governor and witness John Fife Symington III came out to speak on the lights. As a pilot, he claimed to know every aircraft imaginable, and whatever he saw that night was not something he recognized. Not content with just discrediting the official explanation, he also expressed his support for the government to investigate further. To this day, however, we still don't have a solid answer. So I guess for now, the whole thing is very much up in the air.
And will we ever get a solid answer on that? You know, I mean, that's kind of cool. And this is, we're going to kind of wrap up part 2 here with this one. But, you know, my little story, kind of a personal story here is a fun fact. You know, back in 2017, 2018, somewhere in that time frame, My dad was was down at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and he and the wife were looking out over the ocean and kind of looking kind of down the beach a little ways, and he said that they saw three it's like sets of three distinct lights, right? And they would kind of flash just a little bit, and they were there. He said, and then all of a sudden, just he said it was unbelievably fast how quickly they just moved, and then were bam, they were down even further. Like he said, there was no way any craft could move that quickly, let alone stop and hover at that next location in such a way. So he now that sighting alone took my father, who's very kind of on point and very. It's hard for him to believe anything supernatural like that. Now believes that we're not alone here on this planet. That's his experience with it, something that he saw that really now has him as a believer. He said there's absolutely nothing within our realm of technology or his realm of belief that can explain what he and his wife saw that day. They both saw it, and the way these things were moving, these sets of lights were moving, they set still and then just right up the beach and were gone at another location, set up at another location so quickly. He said that it was almost, in between flashes that it would happen, that it moved that quickly. And is now a firm believer that we are not alone on this planet or within this universe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This was part 2 of best evidence proving that aliens exist. Do you believe that aliens exist? Do you believe this is real? Is this enough evidence to prove to you that this is real? And we'll get part 3 out to you very, very soon. So be sure to like, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos here on Hanging with Hillbilly. I also do reaction videos to music and to paranormal sightings, kind of ghosts and goblins and horror and all that kind of cool stuff. So if you have anything you'd like me to look at here on the channel, react to here on the channel, be sure and put that in the comments below as well. Thank you for watching right here on Hanging with Hillbilly, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.